Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for the collective for November 2022. And then we're going to break it down for each life path number. We're also going to take a look at the illuminations, the full moon, the new moon that's occurring throughout November, including the major eclipse that we have at the beginning of the month. We're going to break that down for your individual life path number as we move through the reading. Before we get into it, this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personal reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I will be getting out the 2023 year ahead forecast for each life path number sometime in November. But this is a great time it's a good time anytime, but it's a great time at the end of the year as we're gearing up to start a new cycle, a new year, to get your own personal year ahead forecast. If that's something that you're interested in, that will dial it down into your own personal numerology chart and the cycles that you'll be moving throughout 2023. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can book some time with me on my website and we can take a look. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So November is a 17-8 universal cycle. So for some people, you may see things come to fruition or rewards come in for things that you may have began back in December 2022 or December 2021 or January 2022. So if there's some things that, if you can kind of look back to that time frame and see if there was anything significant that transpired in your life, whether it was some kind of closure, whether it was some kind of new beginning, it's a new inspiration, whatever, and it could be something that you've been sort of working on throughout the year, you may see things or new insights come to fruition at this time that tie back to that period. For some, you may see things surface for you around those same similar themes that came up for you back then that either can be repaired at this time and built upon, or because we also have some very strong eclipses in November, or a strong eclipse in November, right? So things that resurface now may need to be dealt with and closed out more permanently. So I kind of see this as it's possible that someone or something may resurface that's sort of tied back to December 2021 or January 2022, that now you're able to get some solid closure on and sort of move forward from holistically. So emotionally, physically, whatever. That's very, very possible. And you may see that come in very, very strongly around this eclipse that's happening November 8th. Okay, so the energy of the 17-8 is going to really ask us to be very truthful, both with ourselves and with others at this time. So where are we maybe self-sabotaging ourselves or overindulging ourselves? Where can we move closer to our true alignment that's not based on fear or desire? So neither of those extremes, but rather integrity, confidence, and our inner inner knowing. So where have we sort of avoided having the difficult conversations with others because we didn't want to maybe rock the boat, even though by not doing so, we were creating unnecessary inner turmoil, right? So it's like we wanted to save or spare the feelings, the emotions of that other person, but in doing so, it created a storm within us. And so this energy is going to ask us to be very honest with ourselves about where in life we show up in that way and where we need to potentially respond or take action in a different way in order to get different results. Because the truth will always rise to the surface, right? One way or another. So, and it can be incredibly uncomfortable when it does that, because we know what the truth is, we know what our truth is, but a lot of times we'll suppress that again to accommodate or to be in service to other people, right? To not rock the boat. This energy can feel very raw. It can feel very much like sort of digging at a wound that is trying to heal, but can't heal because we keep digging at it, right? And so it's that kind of energy where it's like the truth is going to come to the surface, and it's going to keep coming to the surface until sort of we deal with it, we clean it up, and we allow it to heal in an appropriate way, and then we move forward in a way that's more truthful for ourselves, right? So again, this can feel like very raw. This can feel very like sensitive energy, very emotional energy. But it's ultimately working to get us to our own truth, right? Our own autonomy, and to be able to show up in that way, even if others don't understand, even if others find offense to it, or, are turned off by it because they're not getting what they want out of the situation any longer. We have to get to a point to be, to be most in alignment with our own energies and our own journey. We have to sort of follow our own truth, right? And that truth is never going to physically harm someone or intentionally harm someone, because it has nothing to do with anybody else. It's about ourselves, right? So this energy is kind of getting to that core, getting to the truth of the matter. And I would also say that with this energy, if there's anything that's sort of been hidden behind the scenes, done in secret, that has a potential to come to the surface now as well. So if you have been doing something behind someone's back, or again, in secrecy, and there's not a lot of integrity behind it, maybe, right? Like, this isn't a moral judgment, you do you, but just know that this energy will sort of bring out the truth of a situation, so that it can be dealt with, right? Because if, let's just say, for example, you're having an affair, it's not that there's anything necessarily wrong with the action, like you doing what you want to do with that other person. The harm is in doing it behind another person's back type thing without full disclosure, right? So it's like, you know what I'm trying to get at. It's like, you can be with whoever you want to be with, but if that process is harming another intentionally, right, or you're aware of it, chances are that's going to come to the surface, so that what's best for the highest good of all can come to the surface and be dealt with. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this energy is not about moral judgment. It's just about bringing things to light, bringing things out in the open, so that all parties can move forward in a way that's most healthy for all involved. So again, 17.8, the truth is always going to rise to the surface one way or another. And this energy simply asks us to be the one to bring it up and to honor it with ourselves and with our interactions with others. So this energy can bring up a lot of self-doubt as well. Irrational fears and superficial irritants can come to the surface now to help us to sort of delve much deeper into the true I am within. So throughout November, before we get into Sagittarius season, we're in the sort of depths of Scorpio season. And so this is all very much Scorpionic energy, right? Or I would say in numerology, it could be seen as like 13.4 energy, where things are like really being, there's a deep dive, things are coming to the surface to be worked through, the truth is coming to light. There's a lot of emotional, deep psyche excavations, right? And so again, it can feel raw, it can feel highly sensitive, it can feel emotional as we move through it. And as we, again, delve much deeper into the truth of who we are, at the true I am from within. So this energy helps to sort of lift the veil of illusion and clear the cobwebs so that we're able to see much more clearly what is or what feels true for us, and what sort of is more made up stories by the ego to protect us from something that we don't need protection from, but rather we're meant to explore. The ego is a really good trickster in that it will sort of create stories in the sort of guise of protection, but in reality, it's putting up a wall because we don't want to feel what we're meant to feel and explore what we're meant to explore in those inner depths. So the energy of the 17-8 can bring about more sort of mental vitality and sort of open a channel to the unconscious to help us to solve problems that we've been working through. And more than likely, those solutions will sort of call us to move outside of our perceived comfort zone, further into unknown territory. And it's through that exploration that we will, of course, then become more familiar with that new landscape, right, of ourselves. So this is very scorpionic energy. Like this is very 13-4 energy. This is very much about going into the inner psyche, going deep, getting to the truth of the matter, our own truth of the matter, as well as, like I talked about earlier, truths coming to the surface that may have been hidden from others, right? Like, or that we're trying to hide from others, or that others were trying to hide from us. Those coming to light, whether we want them to or not, to be dealt with, so that everybody in this situation can move into a higher frequency. If they choose to. With this energy, we can be asked to take risks now that we wouldn't normally consider doing. So this is like sort of that giving us the confidence and the courage to do those things we wanted to do, but couldn't find our why, or couldn't find, again, sort of the extra oomph to talk ourselves into it, to be able to do it, right? So again, maybe the ego was coming in with stories about why we're not worthy, why we're not good enough, why we're not ready yet, that sort of thing. That's a good one that the ego likes to use, is you're not ready for this yet. Who do you think you are, type thing. And so then we refrain from stepping into whatever it is we're being asked to step into because we feel like we're not ready for it. When in actuality, typically when the opportunity comes in, it's because you are ready, right? We are ready. So this energy could also bring new people and relationships to our doorstep. Many of these people have something to offer our experience, which I would say is pretty accurate with everybody that, enters into our awareness or into our experience. These people, though, specifically can offer some form of assistance, potentially, or a missing puzzle piece that we've been searching for. So be open to the people who feel significant this month that you cross paths with. And again, this could be somebody from the past that cross paths, or that we see in a different light, or there's a new aha moment around this person, whatever. And also I go back to what I talked about earlier, which is it's also possible that someone from the past resurfaces, especially someone from, again, maybe that time frame of December 2021 to January 2022, that resurfaces, that is really surfacing now for final closure. That's very, very possible. But there's also the possibility that through that closure, or if you don't have anything to close out, that someone new or some new people come in now who can really assist you or assist us, I'm in this equation as well, in a really big way. And again, it's sort of like that missing puzzle piece, the aha moment that this person can bring, or these people can bring, that we've been sort of searching for. So be open to the people who feel significant. Be open to asking for assistance, whatever assistance you feel like you need at this time, right? If you've been hitting a roadblock, if you're struggling with something, this is going to be a beautiful month to ask for that assistance that you need, and then be open to receiving it. Also, you yourself may be unexpectedly asked for assistance by someone, right? So someone might come to you in need of something, or you hold the key for something, or you hold the missing puzzle piece for someone. And so if somebody comes to you for that assistance and you feel holistically capable of giving them that assistance, right? Body, mind, spirit, whatever, then this is a beautiful energy to do so. And a great opportunity for positive exchange of energy through that action. So the help that you give and or receive under this energy can sort of spark the feeling of hope within self and within others. So this can be just a truly incredible, beautiful energy, and you can be a big part of that. You can be a key player in that. So you are the star of the show under this 17-8 energy. So you get to decide how you want to use the warmth of that spotlight. All right, well, let's get into each individual life path number now for November. Life path 11-2. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all for November, and you've got whale energy, and this is so incredibly beautiful. This is such an elevated energy, such a spiritual energy to work with. So with whale coming through, there is something here around judgment, forgiveness, not holding on to grudges, working through what needs to be worked through when it comes to relationships, family dynamics, anything again with, where you're overly critical or judgmental around yourself. So there's a lot coming in here around compassion, grace, understanding, mercy. Also, again, like rising up, sort of leveling up. There may be something that comes in, or an experience or a person that comes in to help you to sort of level up, that comes in this month for you all, to sort of highlight where it is that there's the opportunity present to, again, sort of level up in your experience, whether that's overcoming a challenge, making some kind of decision for yourself that is true to you, is not overly influenced by the external. Because a lot of times 11s and 11-2s can sort of struggle with decisiveness and doing what's in their best interest, because a lot of times 2s are so concerned with everybody else and making sure that, things are going smoothly and people are happy and everything's working out and all of that, right? So this energy is probably going to really ask you to look at how you're moving through your experience, and are you taking into account, into consideration your own needs, and are you vocalizing that? Are you communicating those needs to people, right? So that they're aware of, again, your boundaries and what you need to thrive. So there may be some opportunities for that to come in this month with whale energy coming through. There's also just a really big sort of emphasis on, again, any area within your life where you are holding on to something that's negative or toxic, or again, judgmental, or some kind of grievance that you just really need to work through, that, whether that's energetically, whether that's with a therapist, or whether it's with the actual person. There's definitely something here where you've been maybe potentially avoiding that conversation, that work. But in order for you to move forward, to progress, to level up, to step into your higher expression and then maintain that energy, there's something here that needs to be released, that needs to be eclipsed out when it comes to, again, like holding on to past regrets, past shame, judgment, grievances, whatever. So that may come in, the person may actually resurface. Now, again, that's not always healthy. It needs to be done energetically, but collectively, we're working with 17-8 energy. So it may be that the actual person does resurface for you to sort of hash out, work through whatever it is that you need to work through, to at least come to some common ground, to some kind of mutual understanding, even if you don't agree with each other, right? To find the peace within the situation so that you can both move forward in a more healthy way. Okay, so for November for you all, it's very interesting because you are working with one energy for the month of November. That's the cycle for you all. You're also going to be, of course, feeling the 17-8 energy that we'll be feeling collectively, but for you all, there's one energy coming in being more emphasized. And so for you all, it's going to be about stepping into your powers, doing what feels good for you, using your voice, being decisive, using your discernment, doing something, taking the initiative, taking a risk that feels right for you. So again, rising up, getting clarity around a situation, and then taking inspired action from that clarity to produce, to create to lead some kind of a movement even that feels good for you, that feels aligned with your truth and with your heart and the direction that you want to be moving into. So this is a lot about, again, using your voice and speaking up for what you need and communicating that in a way that, gets your point across and doesn't, and you're not necessarily going to stand down when other people don't like whatever it is that you have to say. That's okay if they don't agree with it, right? It's because it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with them. It's about you speaking your truth and what you need and standing up for that. So it's a very independent energy. It's, again, taking the reins. It's an ambitious energy. There may be something that you want to take the initiative on, whether it's career or family or whatever, to get to a particular goal, to achieve some kind of vision, to create your vision, whatever. But there's a lot here about you standing in your power, for you getting back to the true essence of the I am. So again, we talked about that with in the intro about getting, moving beyond the self-doubt, the irrational fears, the superficial irritants, to again delve much deeper into the true I am within, right? Seeking that truth, finding that truth, and leading from that truth. So a lot coming in around that for you all for November. And then also with it being coupled with the whale, that's just the reminder that there is a compassionate way to go about that, the approach, right? Which typically for twos, again, especially when you're in your higher expression of the energy, you're just it's just innate for you to be able to communicate with people, to have conversations with people, and to allow it to land in a way where they're more receptive to it. So yeah, I'm not really too concerned about your delivery, but just be aware of that with a whale energy. Okay, the eclipse. So we have a full moon lunar eclipse. It's occurring November 8th. For you all, this is bringing in the energy of the 9. And so this can bring about a lot of completions. This can bring in things being eclipsed out. Now, a lot of times when it's 9 energy, it's things that we've been putting a lot of energy into. We've been putting in, again, we've been putting in the effort, and now this is coming to completion. We're seeing things come to fruition with this. This doesn't have to be that, things are being eclipsed out and just I'm being blindsided by like a relationship ending or my career ending or something like that, right? I mean, it can, because it's also eclipse energy. But whatever falls away needs to fall away. But really when it's 9 energy, it's about sort of, again, being more in receptive mode to receive the fruits of our labor, to receive again, where it is that we've put effort into something. Now we're seeing the rewards of that effort. And so typically when it's 9 energy and things coming to closure or completion, we're aware that it's time for that to come to completion, or we're ready for it to, right? It's like tying up those loose ends and sending it off, signed, sealed, and delivered type thing. And so it can be a challenging energy to work with in some ways, right? Because sometimes things closing out can feel, sometimes there's grief associated with that. There's it's change. So it can bring up emotions. But for the most part, with the 9 energy, a lot of times, again, like I said, it's we're relieved, we're excited about this closure because it's allowing us to, move forward onto something else that we want to move forward with. So you may see that come into play. Also, this eclipse can start again like a new storyline or add upon a bigger storyline when it comes to your spirituality, your connection to your higher consciousness, to the unseen, whatever you subscribe to. But there is a spiritual component to this, and there is an element of getting more deeply connected to your higher consciousness, to, again, the higher power that you subscribe to, the universe, whatever, but also potentially unlocking deeper spiritual gifts. So like maybe you become clairvoyant, maybe you open your clairs, you have mediumship or psychic abilities, or you start a new spiritual practice that again brings you back to self, that brings you back to your own inner knowing, whether that's through meditation, spending more time in nature, a hobby that connects you to that inner passion, that inner knowing, whatever it may be. But there's definitely something here. Again, this is a bigger storyline. And 11 twos are very sensitive to begin with. You're very almost innately connected, or have that channel sort of open to, again, like your higher self, your intuitive nature. So this can really emphasize that at this time, and especially with whale energy coming through. This is very much like 9 energy. This is also, again, the 9 energy can bring into light where it is that you need to have more compassion, more empathy, more understanding when you're dealing with and working with other people, because 11 twos, again, at your core is 2 energy. And so it really is about those relationships, bringing people together, being the mediator, seeing things objectively, and working from a place of that objectivity where, again, you're like not getting overly involved or emotionally involved, but you're seeing all sides of things. You're being unbiased to make the most well-informed decision. And so in order to do that, we have to be able to have compassion, empathy, understanding for other people and their experiences, and respect for the other people and their experiences. And whale energy is going to help you to do that this month. But this eclipse is also going to potentially highlight for you where it is that maybe you've been more, had your blinders on maybe, or been more in your ego, your own strong belief systems, to where maybe you've been more judgmental or condemning of other people and their belief systems. And that has sort of colored your the advice that you give, or how you're leading by example, or how you're showing up to relationships or whatever. So there's definitely something here with this eclipse cycle that's going to sort of open your mind, open your open your third eye, even like into, again, being able to see things from a more sort of selfless lens, and again, be more accepting of others and their experiences, their beliefs, whatever, as you continue along your path. So this can be really incredibly beautiful energy to work with. I do feel like for 11 twos, if there are areas within your life where, again, you've sort of had the blinders on, or you've been moving through life just from your own belief system, which most humans do, but without that component of, again, understanding, being open to other people's experiences and belief systems, this eclipse could just bust you wide open with new understanding, new clarity. It could be a very big sort of awakening for you, that as an 11 is going to be needed, right? Because such a big part of your journey of stepping into the 11 energy is being the inspirational leader. And it's really hard to be an inspirational leader if, 1, you're not moving from inspired action, and 2, you're closed off to other people's belief systems, other people's experiences, how other people move through the world. So if you've been approaching your relationships and your experiences with other people from a more subjective standpoint, this energy is helping you do that more objectively. Okay. Then at the end of the month, on November 23rd, we have a new moon. For you all, this is 6 energy that you're working with. So there could be something, new beginnings, new starts, new initiations, new, again, clarity, understanding around home life. So again, this is going to be partnerships that are very close to our heart, friendships, family. There could be like people moving in, out of the home. You could be starting a family, talking about starting a family, having a baby, new opportunities for financial resources coming in to that have to do with a home. You could buy a home, sell a home, relocate, become engaged, become divorced, become married, whatever. You see what I'm saying? It's like something to do with the home. But it's like a new start, a new, and again, it could be like clarity around whatever this is. So it's like some kind of new beginning that's going to be highlighted for you around the home life, around relationships, around finances when it comes to the home. So pay attention to what comes in for you around that time, because it is asking for your attention and for you to take some kind of new action on it, whatever that is. So I hope it's a beautiful November for you all. I think it will be. You're working with some pretty big energies this month, including whale energy, which, like I said, is just incredibly beautiful energy. So I hope it's beautiful for you all. Take care, 11s. Thanks so much for being here. Bye for now.